All right, so today we started measurements, right? This is section 5 in the CSEC syllabus. And the first topic in measurement is Pythagoras Theorem. Now, we have to remember what his theorem states, right? And Pythagoras' theorem states that in any right angle triangle, the square on the hypotenuse or the longest side is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. So what does that mean? So for any right angle triangle, right, this will be the right angle. Opposite the right angle will always be the hypotenuse. And you can call the other two sides A and B. And what the formula says is H is the hypotenuse. So H squared, the square of H, is equal to A squared plus B squared. That is basically the formula for Pythagoras theorem. Right? So in an example, let's say if A is 4 centimeters and B is 3 centimeters, let's find out what H is. So we know the formula, H squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. You could say the length of H squared is equal to A, which is 4, so 4 squared plus B, which is 3 squared. And 4 squared is 4 by 4, which is 16. 3 squared is 3 by 3, which is 9. So the hypotenuse squared is equal to 25. Now, we don't want the square, so we want to square root both sides. And this would cause the cancellation of the 2. So you will end up with the hypotenuse alone. And square of 25 is 5. And the units we are in centimeters. Right. Now from the formula, we could rearrange it. So again, if you have a triangle, and this is your right hand side, and this is the hypotenuse, call this A, call this B. What about if they give us the length of the hypotenuse, let's say 15 meters, and they give us the side A, which is 12 meters, and they ask us to find the side B, we can rearrange the formula. So if you want B, you carry the A to the left hand side, and we'll have 8 squared minus A squared is equal to B squared. And if you were to fill it out, H, or the hypotenuse, is 15, so 15 squared, minus A, on this side, is 12, so 12 squared is equal to B squared. Now you can't say 15 minus 12 is 13 squared. 15 minus 12 is 3 squared. It doesn't work like that. You have to work it out. So 225 minus 144 is equal to B squared. 5 minus 1, 2, 8. That gives us. So we have 1 is equal to B squared. So what you have to do now is square root. And if you square root one side, you have to square root the next. So the square root of 81 is 9. B is equal to 9. And we have to put the units. So B is equal to 9 meters. All right, so the exercise on the left here, in the triangle ABC, angle C equals 90 degrees. A is 5 centimeters and B is 12 centimeters, find C. All right, so let me explain something to you all. When they say things like that, right, triangle ABC, the right angle is at A. So this is C. Anywhere it could be A, anywhere it could be B. Now, if you notice, the letters for the triangle is capital, but the sides that they give us are common. What usually takes place is that we use the opposite side for the common letters. So opposite of A will be common A. Opposite of B, put a different color. opposite of b will become 1b. So that's how we know what sides they're talking about. So a is equal to 5, so 5 will be here. So 5 centimeters. And now we this distance. B is equal to 12 over here. Now we this distance. And what they're asking us to find is C. Right? So again, the formula is hypotenuse squared is equal to the other two sides squared, the sum of the other two sides squared, right? Now, in this case, instead of putting H, we could put C. So C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. And we could start filling it out. A squared is 5 squared, B squared is 12 squared. So C squared is equal to 25, add 144. Sorry, that doesn't look like a 4. 144. So C squared is equal to 169, right? And again, you want to get C, so you square root both sides. So C squared, square root of C squared is C. Square root of 169 is 13, I believe. And we have to put the units. You must put the units, so centimeters. All right, so question 2. In the triangle PQR, so you don't really have to draw a big triangle, just think it. You know it's right angle triangles. Q is the right angle, so Q will be here. So P could be anywhere, R could be anywhere, PQR doesn't matter. So again, small letter P will be opposite capital P, which will be here. So here will be 8 centimeters. R, small common R, will be opposite R, is here. It's 15 centimeters. Not looking neat, so I'll fix it. And Q, they want us to find the distance. So we could write the formula. We know the hypotenuse in this case would be Q. So Q squared will be equal to the opposite sides. The square of the opposite side, the sum, right? So R squared plus P squared. So Q squared will be equal to R squared is 15 squared. P squared is 8, so 8 squared. So Q squared is equal to 15 squared is 225. And 8 squared is 64. Sum it. 982. Right? And then you square root both sides. Oh, sorry, square root both sides. You get Q is equal to square root 289, 17. And again, we in units, centimeters. So questions are good questions. For you all not to get confused, the best thing you should do is just draw a simple diagram and label it. So number 3, in a triangle XYZ, this symbol here means the angle at X is equal to 90 degrees. Now, if you watch closely, this is capital X, not common X, right? So again, let's draw a simple diagram. Doesn't have to be in any direction. This is how you want to draw it. You could draw it like this, right? So the angle at X is in 90 degrees. So X, Y, Z, capital. Beside the length Y, which is opposite the angle Y, it's 3 centimeters. The distance X, which is opposite capital X, it's 5 centimeters. And we want us to find Z. So again, we could write the formula. The hypotenuse is opposite the right angle, so X squared will be equal to the sum of the other two sides squared. So Y squared plus Z squared. Now they give us X and they want us to find Z. So they give us a hypotenuse and they want us to find Z. So we could rearrange the formula to leave Z alone on one side. So you'll have X squared minus Y squared is equal to Z squared, right? So we're going to start working it out. X in this case is 5. Y in this case is 3. We know the value of Z. So 25 minus 9 is equal to Z squared. 25 minus 9 is 16. And again, to get rid of the square sign, the opposite of square and square root, you must square root both sides. You get 4 units of centimeters for the length Z. Now, this brings me to something called the 3, 4, 5 rule. The 3, 4, 5 rule. In Pythagoras Theorem, any right angle triangle that follows the 3, 4, 5 rule will be like this. So let's call this A, B, and H. Wouldn't be capital, should be common H. Right? If this was to follow the 3, 4, 5 rule, so let's say this is a scalar 3, this is a scalar 4, and this is a scalar 5. If you were to scale this triangle in any direction, right? So let's say we multiply the triangle by a scale factor, right? And the scale factor in this case, let's have it to be 3. If we were to scale this up to make a triangle 3 times bigger, right? We could say that the sides would be 3 times the amount. So if the scale factor is 3, 3 by 3, this will be 9, 4 by 3, this will be 12, and the hypotenuse will be 5 by 3, which is 15. And if you were to work out the formula, you would see 15 squared is equal to 9 squared plus 12 squared, which is 225 is equal to 81 plus 144. So 225 is equal to 225. Right, so this is called the 3, 4, 5 rule. And how can we find it or look or notice it? So it doesn't have to be given all the time. So let's say they give us 2 sides of any triangle. Let's call it triangle P, Q, and R. And they say, well, all right, this side is 6 any units, this is 1 meters, and this side is 8 meters. We could see that it's following the 3, 4, 5 rule, and there's a right angle triangle. Because this is a scale factor of 3, which is 2 by 3, and this is a scale factor of, I'm sorry, not scale factor 3, is a scale factor 2, and this will be a scale factor 2 as well. So we could say this will be 2 by 5 to give us 10. If we want to work it out, right, since this being the hypotenuse, we'll say it's 10 squared is equal to 6 squared plus 8 squared. So it's 100 is equal to 36 plus 64, and we'll see that it is equal to 100, right? So this is called a 3, 4, 5 rule. Right? It is used in construction mainly to help give a right angle triangle where you have to build a wall or you want to make something at a right angle. All right, I'm going to do number 6. So number 6, a ladder 6.5 meters tall is placed against a wall. Calculate the horizontal distance from the foot of the ladder to the base of the wall, given that the height from the ladder to the base of the wall is 3.2 meters. Now, anytime I have a question like this, we know the ground should be flat or horizontal. Let's see, this is the wall here in red, right? And the ladder, now I can't really draw, right? So I'll put the ladder as gray. Now they say the length of the ladder is 6.5 meters. So once you place it against a wall, it will be at an angle. Mathematically, we know walls are built vertically, which is straight up, and the ground is horizontal, so we will get a 90-degree angle here. Now they say calculate the distance, the horizontal distance, so they want this value here. Let's call it x for now. Given the height from the ladder to the base of the wall, so from here to here, it's 3.2 meters, right? So we can see that this is a right angle triangle that is formed where 6.5 is the hypotenuse. So hypotenuse squared, and again you can label it A and B, it doesn't matter. A squared plus B squared, that's the formula. And writing the formula in any question usually is a mark. So write your formulas. Right, so we want to fill it out. So 6.5 squared is equal to A squared, which is 3.2 squared plus B squared. And just like before, we want the B squared by itself on one side. So we have 6.5 squared minus 3.2 squared is equal to B squared. Now, if I were to bring up my calculator, right, you'll have 6.5 squared is 42.25. So let's write it down. 42.25 minus, so clear, 3.2 squared. Now you can do this in your calculator in one step, but I'm showing you all step by step, right? 10.24 is equal to B squared. So now we're going to subtract. So 42.25 minus 10.24 is equal to 32.01. Remember, we want to get rid of the B squared, so you're going to square root on both sides. So clear 2 square root 32.01. Now we have to round it off. So if we watch the example, we're only given one decimal place. We are round it off to one decimal place. So we'll have 5.655, meaning that we'll have to add 1 to the 6. So we get 7. Or this was in meters. The question was in meters. So not centimeters, but meters. I don't know, this will be the length of P. So they have 5.66 in the answer, but because we only have one decimal place here, you're round it off. It'll be the same thing, you'll get the same answer. Right? So 5.7 meters is equal to the length of P in this distance here.